Good morning. There we go. Alrighty. Good morning. Gonna get it rolling here. Got some good movement coming at you. Hope you're ready to start your day out right. Okay. I'm gonna start on the ground here. Just gonna go nice and easy through some hip rotations. So as we get moving here, I'm gonna talk a little bit. You can just kind of follow along. So these first ones here, just nice and easy. Feet spread wide. We're gonna work on driving our knee to the ground on either side here. Really trying to check in with each hip and see how our range of motion, see how our hips are feeling today. Okay. As we go, if any of these movements cause pain, obviously do your best to modify. I'll offer different modifications, different progressions throughout these exercises. Stick with what suits you best, based on where you're at, where your joint health is, and it's you as a human, but also where your goals are for the day. Maybe this is a warm up for another exercise that you're going to do. Maybe you want to bring some more intensity to it. Maybe this is your workout, but you want to stay a little bit low impact. Maybe it's more of like an active recovery day. However you're using it, doesn't really matter. What's awesome is that you're trying out, hopefully learn some new things, and grooving through some different ranges of motion. So notice here, I'm checking. I like to go, a couple on each side to see where I'm at, and then maybe addressing any asymmetries. Maybe one side feels a little bit stickier. Okay, really important as we do this, we aren't letting the butt cheek come off the ground. Rather, keeping the butt glued to the ground and just rolling that hip joint here. Okay, so really notice if you start to come in more and then you pull up off the ground. One want to refrain from that as best we can. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Taking your time. Maybe you spend a little bit more time on one side than the other here. Okay, not going to spend quite as much time on the hips. Did quite a bit of that yesterday. We're going to just check in and get a little bit of blood flow going through here. Okay, there we go. Okay, from here, going to work on our shoulder cars. So let's stand up. You can do this kneeling if you prefer, or find a position that works for you. Otherwise, it's going to be standing. You're going to single arm shoulder car. So remember, with our cars, we're doing a big joint circle. I want to start to give ourselves a little bit of tension, like we're moving through quicksand. So we're going to start making a fist in my right arm. I'm going to put my left hand on my belly to make sure I'm tight and make sure I'm controlled, but also to keep me from rotating or even arching as we start to go through this motion. So let's start. I'm going to roll the arm all the way inward. So thumb is pointed inward. Okay. Ooh. There we go. Thumb is pointed inward and almost behind us. So the back of your hand should be touching your hip here. From here, we're going to bring the arm back as far as you can until we start to hit that wall or want to lean forward. From here, then, we're going to rotate that arm outward. Okay, so thumb is now pointed out, even behind us as we start to come through the rest of your car motion. Okay, so from here, we're going to reach back, drawing as big of a circle as we can. See how far we can reach back as we start to make our way up through this full car. At the top, our pinky is going to rotate across the body as our bicep scrapes across your cheek. Okay, making as big of a circle as we can without pain. If there's any pain, less in the range of motion here. So starting out, arm rotates in, coming back as soon as we hit that wall, then starting to rotate the arm outward and reaching back behind you as far as you can without pain. Torso stays steady. If there's a light shining off of your sternum, it shouldn't really move much here. Okay, and reaching back through a big circle, driving through quicksand at the top. Arm rotates across, pinky now is pointing across your body. Bicep scrapes your cheek, drawing through a big circle here. Okay, gonna reverse directions now. So from here, palm is facing forward, my thumb is pointing out, pinky starts to reach across the body. Again, let's move through quicksand. So your tissues don't know if there's a weight involved. They respond to force. Okay, so let's try to get yourself a little bit more force to these tissues. The top, arm rotates outward, almost like we're dumping out a glass here. Okay, there we go. Again, reaching back behind you, exploring this big range of motion through your shoulder. So start, palm points forward, pinky reaches across the body, and driving through some quicksand here, fighting that arch, but getting some tension through this shoulder now. Okay, you can make this a strength training exercise if you want. You're dumping out that glass here at the top, or maybe this is a little bit lower intensity if you're just feeling your shoulders out. Either way, though, trying to have really good control by going slow and giving yourself a little bit of that tension. You're gonna switch sides now. So left side coming, got a fist here, I'm braced, I'm ready to go. Arm rotates in, thumb drives back towards the wall behind. Okay, from here, we're gonna rotate that thumb outward as we start to reach back behind. Again, finding a good range of motion, keeping your breath rolling. At the top, pinky reaches across the body, coming around here. And arm is kind of moving through quicksand. That's a good visual. Start to get tension active. Arm rotates in to start, coming back behind, back as far as we can, and then starting to open that arm up. Thumb rotates out, to reach back behind, steady through here. Breath is flowing. Elbows pretty straight here. And at the top, we're gonna slowly reach that pinky across the body. Arm reaches across as your bicep scrapes across your cheek. There we go. Okay, gonna reverse directions now. So we got palm facing forward, pinky reaches across the body. Keep breathing, keep some tension through that core if we can. The shoulders moving through quicksand. The top starting to dump out that glass of water or that can, really reaching back behind you. There we go. Last rep here, pinky reaches across the body. Again, moving through quicksand. There we go. Reaching back behind. Dump out that glass here. There we go. Okay, gonna go through some scapula cars now. So the scapula is part of the shoulder joint we think of, but this is the motion it does. Okay, just going through like a shoulder roll. So we want to avoid arching or rotating or doing any other movement throughout here. Just trying to move the scapula, okay, or your shoulder blade back here. So I'm gonna put my arm out here for a little bit more intensity. If that's bothersome, you can go arm by your side. That helps out a little bit as well. Okay, but just one arm at a time here. You're gonna start by pushing your fist forward as far as we can before you start to lean. Okay, so fist comes forward, shoulder blade is forward now. From here, we're gonna shrug and then pull back. Okay, again, avoiding arching the low back, stay nice and fixed here, pull back as far as we can. Once we're there, then we're gonna lower. So shoulder lowers, and hand is staying out as high as your shoulder the whole time. Not moving like this, just the shoulder here is moving. So now we should be at the down and back position. Let's go through another rep. So let's drive our fist forward, forward, forward. Then we can come up, then back. Take your time here, then down. Again, avoid arching that low back. Really squeeze that shoulder blade backing down here for a moment if we can. Okay, we'll drive the fist forward, and then we're gonna pause for a second. So fist should come forward, that shoulder blade is driven forward as far as we can. Should be in a down position. So we should be down and forward if we picture this like a box. We're gonna reverse directions now. So we're gonna come reverse, slowly pull that shoulder back, really avoid the shrug now. Super key is that we don't shrug through here until we get all the way back. Once we've retracted, again, no low back arching, no swing or hips, we're gonna slowly start to elevate and then drive forward. So now we're at the forward top position, going through the opposite direction. From here, you're gonna lower, you take your time, lowering, and then we're gonna pull back, really avoiding the shrug as we pull a shoulder blade back. Imagine like you're pulling a handle or something without moving your elbow. Once we get back, and then we come up, forward, forward, forward. There we go. Coming down here. One more rep here. So we should be in the down and forward position again. One more rep, squeezing back, squeezing that shoulder blade back. Then we come up, drive forward, 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 down, relax, shake that arm out. Good work. Gonna come to the other side now. Okay, same thing. You can go arm here or you can go up here. And starting to get a little bit of tension as we move. That's why we go slow, is because naturally you recruit more muscles as we move slow and controlled. Okay, so we're starting at the forward position. So drive that fist forward, shoulder blade is forward here. From here, and start to shrug and then pull back. Nice and easy, pulling back, 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 and then coming down. And avoiding that arch as we come down, keeping nice and neutral, just moving that shoulder blade here. Fist starts to come forward. Got one more rep in this direction. Then we're coming up through the shrug, and pull back, 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 and then let it lower downward here. Good work. Let's finish in the forward position. So we should be down and forward now. Let's get all the way down and forward and pause for a second. Okay, from here, you're gonna go in reverse now. So keep the shoulder blade down as we pull shoulder blade back. Really fighting that urge to shrug. Do your best to not shrug and not arch your low back. Maybe put your hand back here, really feel that shoulder blade gliding back across your rib cage. Once we get it all the way back and down, then we're gonna start to shrug and drive forward here. Okay, let's keep that motion going now. Forward, forward, then down in our starting position. Super key is to pull back without shrugging. There we go. Then we lift, come forward. Let's get one more rep in here. Now really drive that shoulder blade forward. Okay, kind of getting the hang of this now. Feel that shoulder blade lower. Good. Slowly coming back now. Take your time coming back and down again. Feeling these muscles in your back start to squeeze as that shoulder blade pulls back. And avoiding that shrug as long as we can. And then we start to let it shrug up. Driving forward to finish here. Relax. Shake it out. Good work there. Okay. Going to go through a neck car now. Same idea with our other cars, just finding that end range of motion. So with our neck car here, I'm going to start by tucking the chin. The crown of the head might even lift up a little bit. So from here then, we're going to roll forward. Let's think about now like a crayon is coming off of your nose and you're drawing as big of a circle as you can. Okay, so you're going to look over one of your shoulders. Chin scrapes across your sternum, looking over your shoulder as far as you can. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Then from here, dip the temple towards the ground as we start to arch back, going through a big circle. Important that you lift your nose and your chin up, not just back. Don't think about lifting your head back as far as you can, rather lifting kind of off your spine. Then we start to look over your other shoulder, dipping towards the ground, scraping the chin across your other collarbone. To the center and roll back up. Good work. Chin stays tucked. Come another rep here. So let's roll forward, shoulders staying nice and relaxed. Maybe you need to sit on your hands or clasp into your hips. And gonna look over your shoulder. Use your eyes as a help for this one. So look over as far as you can. Once you can't see any further over your shoulder, dip the head towards the ground and then start to make that backwards arch. Again, chin, nose lifted up towards the ceiling, then looking over your other shoulder. As far as you can, starting to kind of dip and chin scrapes across your chest to the center. There we go. Good work. You can do one more each direction. So take your time, again, nice and controlled with this. Chin is tucked to begin with. You see that starting position, really important that we can get a chin tuck here. Okay, from here, then rolling forward. You're gonna look over your shoulder as best you can. And dip the temple to the ground. Start to arch backwards. But again, chin and nose are lifted up, not just back. Looking over your other shoulder, kind of dipping towards the ground, scraping your chin across your chest. Back to the center. Awesome. Last rep here. Okay, other direction. Again, chin is tucked, rolling forward, drawing that big circle with the crayon off of your nose. Okay, shoulders nice and relaxed, looking over your shoulder. Dip, arch back around. Keep breathing, guys. Looking over your other shoulder, kind of dipping, scraping the chin across your chest. Back to the center. Shake it out a little bit. Awesome. There we go. Gonna make our way down to the ground now. Okay, gonna be lying on our side. So this one can be tricky just to see the angles. Don't get too caught up with exactly where you're reaching your arms, but more so want to think about just opening up through your back and shoulders. So we're gonna start with our knees lying on our side. See, my knees are bent at about a 90-degree angle, hips similar to that. Okay, so from here, you can see that's about where I'm at. Our arms now, we're starting in a folded over position, like we're lying on our side. From here, I'm gonna reach. So if my knees, or if my right knee is on the ground, my left arm is gonna reach up above me towards the ground here. My right arm is gonna reach straight towards the ceiling. So from here, this arm is a little bit more up towards my head. Okay, you can see in this position, I'm reaching, this arm is up here, okay? Opposite arm up to the ceiling. And then we're just gonna reach back forward, coming to our starting position, keeping motion with this one now. So really reach with that opposite arm. I'm reaching with my left arm, kind of up towards my head, maybe about a 45-degree angle. I'm getting my hand pretty close to the ground, okay? But I'm not, so I'd say here, this is like 90, or is a 90, or straight up overhead is maybe a 90. Trying to find that position somewhat in the middle there, okay? Keeping knees to the ground and knees together, trying to just rotate through that upper back and shoulder. Again, no pain with this. We want to keep motion here though. You can settle in for a breath or two as we find this reaching position. But we want to make sure we're not holding for too long. If it feels good, that's awesome, but keep motion with this, okay? We're not just trying to static stretch today. We're trying to keep motion and really exercise mobility, which includes control and strength. Okay, we'll do a couple more on this side. If you feel like this side is pretty loose and you want to check the other side, you can go on. Maybe you have to spend more time on one side. Again, giving you options to address that if you find any imbalances side to side with exercises here today. Again, really reach and settle into that full exhale. See if it allows you to stretch and reach that shoulder to the ground a little bit more here. We're gonna do one more. Now really think about the shoulder coming to the ground, not just your hand, but think about the back of the shoulder pulling towards the ground. There we go, maybe loosening that arm a little bit if you need. There we go. We're gonna switch sides here on this. Again, take your time switching sides. If you need to address some imbalances side to side, feel free, okay? Spend a little bit more time on one side, otherwise we're reaching. So again, my left knee is touching the ground. I'm gonna reach my right arm up above me here. Left arm is going to the ceiling. Take your time with this, but not holding the stretch. Okay, just getting a good reach and really settling into that full exhale. Again, thinking about the back of this shoulder is what I'm trying to reach towards the ground. Not just this arm, but thinking about the back of this shoulder here, really starting to reach and pull towards the ground. Low back should be pretty stable. That's why we're keeping our knees together and on the ground here, okay? Notice if your knees start to really slide back and forth. Try to keep them glued together here as we're rotating. And keeping your breath moving. Settling into a good full reach and exhale here. Not holding, keeping motion here. Stretching is different than what we were doing, I would say. We're exercising mobility, and it's kind of like a dynamic stretch, but different than what we think about traditional stretching. It might look very similar if you're not really sure of what the difference might be between like mobility versus flexibility training, but a lot more oriented towards more mobility. Keep breathing. Okay, I'm gonna go one more on the side here. There we go. Good work. Okay, gonna make our way up. Grab a drink if you'd like. Get a good time to grab a little sip of water. Okay, as we're ready, gonna come up onto our kneeling lunge position. If you need, you can put a pad under your knee, or maybe you tuck the toes under and actually you're in a standing lunge if that bothers you, putting pressure on your knee. Okay, either way, it's okay. Same mechanics here. We're working on coming forward and starting to stretch out the front of this leg here. But want to make sure that we're not just pulsing our hips forward and letting our low back arch, but rather think about almost doing a pelvic tilt. So kind of come out of the stretch if you need. Find that pelvic tilt where we get a low back that's neutral or pretty flat here. Hold this in, maybe squeezing the glute on that side, and then just driving forward. So notice my whole torso and hips are moving forward together here. So these 2 points, my hip bone and my chest here are moving forward together, really opening up that stretch. If you're not feeling a stretch, come out of it here. Again, maybe you arch your low back and then feel the opposite. Come out and feel that pelvic tilt to where your low back flattens out and that glute kind of squeezes. There we go. If you feel comfortable with this, you can add a little bit of a reach. Okay, so as we're stretching here, as we're stretching, give yourself a little bit of a reach across. Same mechanics apply though, okay? Upper body just slightly reaching across here. Really lengthening this whole side chain here. There we go, a couple more pulses here. Again, you can add a reach if you'd like. Really settle into that breath. Here we go. Gonna switch sides. Again, as we're coming here, super important is that we're not just pulsing the hips forward. You might feel a little stretch here, but way different than if we lock the pelvis in, kind of squeeze the glute and press the torso forward, whole body movement together here. We're really working on driving that hip back. So as we sit, we do the opposite of what we're trying to open up here. We tell our body it's okay to be kind of closed off in this position. It's awesome to exercise this range of motion through different means. I like something like this to just say hello, see how those hips are feeling, but also at the same time start to open up a little bit and work on a little bit of body control through the hip ranges of motion. Okay, maybe we add the reach here. So we're stretching your left hip. your left arm should be reaching across the body. Again, keeping your breath rolling. There we go. Getting a couple reaches. Really locking that pelvis in as we pulse forward into that stretch here. There we go. Should feel good through there. Nice. Gonna come back one more on each side. It's gonna take your time with this. Okay. If you need to spend more time on one side, this is a good time to do so. Let's try to tuck your toes under on that back leg now. Getting maybe a little bit more stretch, adding in a little more full body here. You can add the reaches as we're ready. Good work. There we go. Really open up that leg. Get a couple reaches. Nothing crazy about these exercises we've done so far, but they are very effective if we're doing them right and if we're focused. Okay. What's cool about this is just practicing your focus and paying attention, getting into your body. We'll switch sides here. Just practicing that has a benefit on its own as far as your mind and attention goes. You know, that can be considered a mindfulness practice. You don't have to label it that if that's not the terminology you like to use, but just training your focus. You know, we exercise our physical body and try to keep that healthy. Yet a lot of times we forget about how our mind is a muscle or our brain is a muscle that can adapt and change to our world and to the inputs we give it. You know, so by trying to focus and by bringing awareness into your body, you can really, you know, train that focus, train that awareness in a sense, you know, to build that. It's a skill just like moving well is a skill, just like balancing on one leg or riding a unicycle. You know, a lot of things, they challenge us right away. You know, that means we're working towards a positive adaptation a lot of times. There we go. Especially with things like this, just nice and easy pulsing. Maybe getting one more reach. There we go. Okay, a couple more minutes left with the movement session. Gonna up the intensity a little bit here. It's gonna focus more upper body on these. If you need, again, take breaks, or if you need to stick with some of the earlier versions of the cars, that's okay too. Otherwise, we're gonna lie on your belly, okay? I'm moving my right arm to start. So I'm gonna put my left arm under my forehead, like so. Right arm is gonna be by my side, making a fist here, okay? I like to squeeze my knees together a little bit, maybe get my glutes a little bit active, as well as the belly. So you think about pulling your belly away from your waistband. Want to create some stability through our whole trunk before we start here. Once we get that base, I'm gonna make a fist in my right hand and lift my hand off the ground as high as I can without pain. You can watch on the screen as you need, but I encourage you as you're ready to put your forehead straight towards the ground. You know, chin and nose are just lifted from the ground maybe an inch or two. You're looking straight down. From here, thumb is rotated out, almost like we're trying to rotate all the way out and maybe point the thumb towards the ceiling. Slowly gonna come through this version of our car now. Keeping the elbow straight, trying to keep that hand and elbow off the ground as high as we can. Nipples stay glued to the ground now, okay? Reaching up overhead. By about now, we should be pretty close to overhead. Gonna keep that arm up. Bending the elbow, okay? Hand is gonna hover over the back of your head. Making sure that we're not over shrugging here. Keep the shoulder away from the ear. Good, we're gonna keep that car going. Straighten the arm out. Hand stays high off the ground. Coming through our shoulder car. As we come down, rotate that thumb towards the ground and all the way through so that now the back of your hand is facing your hip. From here, we're gonna bend the elbow, hover the back of your hand over your low back. Again, keeping that shoulder from driving towards the ground. Keep that shoulder up off the ground. Good, we'll straighten that arm out and relax. We're gonna go to the other side. So we got some rotations with the arm. If that's a little confusing, that's okay. Just work on rotating the thumb inward and outward through the next car here, okay? So we're starting, got a little bit of core tension, got that left arm in a fist, ready to drive through quicksand coming through our car. It's gonna take your time. Challenge yourself to go extra slow on this one. There we go, keep breathing, elbows straight. Once we get up overhead, we're gonna bend the elbow, hand hovers over the back of your head, making sure we're not shrugging. Keep that shoulder out of your ear here. Good work. We'll straighten that arm out, hand stays high off the ground. Gonna start to rotate that thumb towards the ground and then keep that coming all the way through, okay? Once we get down by our hip, we'll bend the elbow, keep the shoulder from driving towards the ground now. Keep the shoulder up, hand hovers over your low back. There we go. Breathe, breathe. Nice, and relax out of it here. Okay, got one more rep each arm now. So again, starting out, got some fists. Thumb rotates outward as far as we can, and maybe even pointing up if we have that range of motion. From here, arm stays off the ground as high as we can, slowly coming through this shoulder card here. Okay, keeping that arm straight, sort of drive through quicksand, get a little bit of intensity, hopefully getting some muscles firing here. At the top, we're gonna bend the elbow and hover over the back of your head. Again, fight that shrug, keep that mid back active, squeeze that shoulder blade down like that one of those first exercises we worked on. From here, we'll straighten the arm out, hand stays high off the ground, sort of rotate that thumb towards the ground, slowly coming through the rest of our car. Elbow stays straight till we get down by your hip. Then we'll bend the elbow and hover the back of your hand over your low back here. Okay, so squeeze, nice, keep that shoulder from the ground. Straighten that arm out, relax to the ground. Good work, guys. Okay, one more rep coming on our left side here, opposite side. Okay, again, I like to sometimes squeeze the hips, squeeze the knees, especially as I get tired. Bring some tension into the torso to help this shoulder out. Add some stability there. Okay, so we got our fists, our thumb is rolled off the ground away from our body. Okay, from here, we're gonna rotate that arm up towards your head. Slow and controlled, elbow stays straight. Fighting that shrug now, fight that shrug. If we can, we're gonna bend the elbow, hover over the back of your head. Breathe and control. Again, shoulders staying off the ground, but away from the ear as well. Let's straighten that arm out and slowly coming down as that thumb starts to rotate towards the ground. Back of the hand is facing the ground now. Hand stays as high off the ground as we can. Once you get down by your side, gonna bend the elbow, keep the shoulder back. 3, 2, 1. Straighten out, relax on the ground. Good work there, you guys. Just gonna take a little break. Kind of breathe nice and easy, come to a child's pose, stretch here. Not a yoga teacher, so I should probably have a new name, but we'll pretend we're doing the child's pose here. Again, just sinking back if your knees allow. Letting that low back relax and reaching those arms long. Just nice and easy. Settle into a couple breaths here. Hopefully you felt some good shoulder muscles rocking on that last one. If not, slow it down. There we go. Let's walk your hands over to one side. So it's kind of crawling them over. Okay, just gonna start to stretch that whole side body out here. Take a couple nice easy breaths here. Really open up that side. And then we'll walk the hands to the other side. Again, you can address if one side's a little bit tighter than the other. Take your time and settle into that tightness. Kind of blend it open up, a little bit less aggressive with this one. Again, not holding for too long with that. There we go. Okay, shake the arms out a little bit. Okay, good time for a drink again. Gonna come through some push-ups, then gonna go through one more set of the shoulder cars. And then probably about done with the workout here. Keep it rolling, guys, okay? Haven't talked a whole lot about core strength today. When we come into a push-up, this should be as much of a core exercise as it is anything else. Okay, so let's just find our push-up position. If we need, we can stay on your knees. If you're on your knees though, making sure from shoulder to knee, you should be able to draw a straight line. Really want to avoid getting up here. Rather shift those hips forward, torso is active, okay? If we're in our regular push-ups, our body should be like a plank. You're not arching the low back, not sagging here like so, but also not up through here, okay? We're in a plank, our belly is tight through this whole exercise. From here, let's take our time. So we couldn't just do regular push-ups. You just want to go rock out 30 push-ups, go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to challenge you to go slow and controlled. Get your breath going with it. Keep your core tight, maybe squeeze the glutes. Take your time here. We're going more for time on this than reps. There we go. We're on your knees. Again, same idea applies. Okay, from here, let's notice your elbows. Make sure your elbows aren't flared up totally wide, but also make sure they aren't glued to your side. Want to have a little bit of space between your upper arm and your torso here. Okay, if you need to adjust the hands here. Good work. Control, breathe. If you need to take a break at this top position here. Okay, so just hold and breathe. use this as like a high plank, hit that core a little bit, okay? Otherwise, let's keep our push-ups rolling. Got about 15 more seconds here. There we go. And keep the belly tight, keep the glutes tight, fight from shrugging as best you can here. Here we go. Last couple here. Good work. Okay, gonna make our way onto the belly for a shoulder car. Last exercise, let's rock it out here. Again, adding attention. Maybe on this one, you give yourself a little more quicksand. Get a little bit more muscles firing. Again, your muscles do not know if there's a weight involved, they just are responding to force. So by giving yourself some self-imposed resistance, you really up the force in that joint, in this case, the shoulder. Okay, you really wanna get some strength going on this if that's your goal for the day. I'm gonna start, and I like it fists or an arm above, so my forehead gonna be on my forearm here, okay? Look at the screen as needed, but try to just follow my verbal cues so you can keep your head down. A lot easier on the neck on this one, okay? So an arm is by your side, lift it off the ground, got some tension, got a little bit of fist. Belly's tight, maybe glutes are tight here. Good. Thumb is gonna rotate out and up. From here, driving through your shoulder car. Take your time. Maybe about halfway through this rep. Take your time, again, driving through quicksand. That arm gets up above, elbow stays straight. From here, we're gonna bend the arm, hand hovers over the back of your head. A good 3 count. Good work. We'll straighten that arm. Keep that elbow off the ground as high as you can now. Thumb rotates down towards the ground. Hand is lifted up. It's like we're dumping out that glass. Keep rotating that arm through, getting close to your side. Once you're by your side, we're going to bend the elbow and hover the back of your hand over your low back. Keep that shoulder as far off the ground as we can. Good work. We'll straighten that arm out and relax to the ground. Okay. If you want to stay on the same side to challenge yourself a little bit more, stay on the same side. Try 2 reps in a row. Otherwise, it's going to be alternating sides. So if we're on the left side now or the other side, got that fist, thumb is rotated out, controlling through this motion now. Take your time. Squeeze this one out now. Should be getting a lot of tension through that shoulder. Again, fighting that shrug as best you can. Getting up above, then we're going to bend and hover over your head. Good 3 count here. Keep breathing, guys. Keep breathing. We'll straighten that arm out. Elbow stays high off the ground now. Gonna rotate that thumb towards the ground. Keep that arm as away from the ground as best we can. From here, working down towards our side. Once we get down by our side, we're gonna bend the elbow, hover over your low back. Good 3 count. Keep that shoulder away from the ground. Don't let that shoulder sag as we hover over our low back. We'll straighten out, relax to the ground. Awesome job. One more coming each side here, okay? So again, got a fist in our arm, thumb is rotated outward here as best we can. Keep that arm off the ground, okay? Slowly coming up through the car. How high can we get that elbow off the ground? Keep that arm straight as best we can. Fighting that shrug, eventually getting up overhead. Then we're gonna bend and hover the hand over your head. 3, 2, 1. We'll straighten that arm out, elbow stays high. Starting to rotate that thumb towards the ground and then keep going through here. Taking your time, finishing through that car. Again, elbow off the ground as high as we can. Once we get to that hover, keep that shoulder off the ground. Don't let the shoulder collapse forward. Breathe, 2, 1. Relax out of it. Awesome. Last half rep coming. I guess a full rep on the other side though. Have some fun with this. Challenge yourself. Really practice that intense control of this area we're moving. So we got a fist, thumb is rotated outward, start to lift that arm off the ground as high as you can. Breathe in here, driving up through some quicksand. Hopefully you got tension regardless of the quicksand, but maybe you're adding a little bit more intensity here. At the top, you're gonna bend the elbow, hover over the back of your head. Good 3 count, keep breathing here. And we'll straighten out, again, fighting that shrug. See if we can get those mid-back muscles to support us here. Thumb rotates towards the ground, keeping that elbow as high off the ground as we can, elbow straight. Once we get down by the side, back of the hand is gonna hover over your low back. Again, shoulder stays off the ground here. Breathe, 2, 1, Straighten that arm out and relax to the ground. There we go. Good work. I don't know about you, but my shoulders are feeling a little bit, almost like a pump even, just from something like that. Maybe you weren't as intense. Maybe you're just trying to challenge your range of motion a little bit. Awesome. Hey, wherever we're at, just good to try it. Take some time for yourself to try something new, to push through your outer ranges of motion. Okay. The cars are so cool is because, our outer ranges of motion are where injuries happen. When your body gets stretched to a position where it can no longer control or have the strength to avoid like ripping, or getting a strain to your ligaments or your muscles. So by going through our outer ranges of motion regularly, we train that and we build that resiliency at the point where we're most vulnerable to injury. Pretty cool idea. I'm pretty passionate about it, as you can see. Alrighty, let's take some time just to attune our mind a little bit for some peace and balance for the rest of our day and maybe even the rest of our weekend here, okay? So if you want to sit on your butt, maybe you grab a cushion, maybe you sit on a low chair, or maybe you just lie on your back. You can put a pillow under your knees or bend your knees so your feet are flat on the ground. Wherever we're at, just gonna take some mindful breaths here, spending just a couple minutes. Again, just bringing awareness to our breath. You're gonna breathe in through your nose, out through your nose or mouth. Maybe closing your eyes for a little bit easier focus, a little bit easier calm here. Just watching your breath flow naturally. Trying not to shrug too much as we breathe here. Hopefully over these first couple moments of mindful breathing, you start to notice your respiratory rate slowing. Your inhales and your exhales maybe get a little bit deeper. Heart rate starts to slow as our breath rate slows a little bit here. Bring focus to a full exhalation here. So as we stimulate that exhalation, we stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system, or more the rest and digest aspects of our nervous system, kind of counteracting or counterbalancing that fight or flight. Some of what we just did was a little bit stressful. Now trying to come out of that, being able to navigate between stressful times and then back into this sort of state of a little bit more relaxed clarity, relaxed strength, focus, sense of calm here. Again, breathing in through your nose, nice and easy, not too forced, and trying to exhale a little bit longer than we inhale here. Making sure that we're not forcing ourselves into a state of panic or stress with our lengthened exhale, but finding a sort of natural rhythm to that. If you've done this for a couple of rounds now, maybe you come back to a normal rhythmic breath here. And as often as needed, just bring your awareness back to your breath. It's important to note that it's not important how long we stay focused here, but rather just bringing your mind back to your point of focus as often as needed. It's totally natural for the mind to wander, and that's not what's important. Rather, bringing your awareness back into your breath, to the present moment, just being and accepting yourself just as you are right now. Sometimes that can be extremely refreshing, just to say, everything is okay. How I am right now is okay. There's nothing pressing me. Yeah, we may have tasks that we need to get done, but overall, we're here in a state of presence and okayness. Just allowing ourselves to be as we are. That is enough right now. And just nice and easy breathing here. Keeping your jaw, your forehead, your eyes nice and relaxed here. Maybe settling into a little bit more stillness or a little more relaxation. Again, it's okay if it's not what you're feeling. Don't create that expectation for yourself. Maybe just guiding yourself towards a little bit more stillness, relaxation. As often as that mind tries to catch you or tell you need to do things, taking note of that and then bringing your awareness back to your nice, easy inhalation through the nose and exhalation through your nose or mouth. Again, allowing yourself to be, maybe even offering yourself a little bit of appreciation for just taking the time to invest in yourself, invest in your joint health and in your movement health a little bit, but also in your mind. Again, our mind is a muscle just like the other parts of our body that we exercise. It can be very powerful practice to exercise this every once in a while. And also then coming back to the state of neutral awareness as often as needed, as often as we can day to day. It's almost like being in the state of flow or being in the zone. That's kind of what athletes may call this. This is something we can tap into day to day at any time, especially if we practice this on our own or through settings like this. It offers us an opportunity to access this more readily. Just a couple more moments, allowing yourself to breathe naturally here. Awesome job, just keeping with this practice here. Call it practice because we're never done. There's never a beginning and an end to it per se. Rather, just always refining, always getting maybe a little bit better, or just becoming a little bit more skillful in sorts at navigating this sort of mindset or mindfulness practice. If you'd like to stay with this, maybe exercise this a little bit more and tune this out. Maybe put the computer or phone on mute here. Just let yourself be, settling a little bit more. Awesome job exercising, practicing movement, working on a lot of areas of our health, and also just paying attention. This is very informational. Hopefully you got some takeaways. Maybe take some of these exercises into your later today or into tomorrow morning. Seeing some that felt good and trying to do a couple. Maybe you found ones that were challenging for you. Good thing to work on and address, or maybe one side was a lot more imbalanced than the other. You really want to address that. Either way, you got some tools with this. Feel free to share this with friends or family. I'm going to start to slow the live classes or the online classes just as in-person stuff starts to build up. I'm going to keep these going. So hopefully this is a resource for you just to come to as needed if you just need a little bit of inspiration to get moving, or you maybe just don't know what you want to do, but you want to do something today. That's a good reason to come to these. My channel is full of different videos. I'm going to keep building that here these next couple weeks and months. Yeah, you can like, subscribe. That stuff all helps me out. Comments, your thoughts, any feedback is obviously always appreciated. You can also donate if you'd like. Just let me know and I'll get you Venmo or PayPal or whatever need be there. Yeah, awesome job trying. Thanks for working at it. Have a great day, you guys.